They called it a miracle when the stars blinked, until the silence followed. In that silence, every digital system from Mars to Earth hesitated for a fraction of a second, and for that heartbeat of cosmic stillness, the entire human race looked up together. On the monitors of the Neptune Observatory, Dr. Amina Cole saw it first, the faint distortion crawling across the deep sky data like a bruise in the fabric of the cosmos. Space was bending, not by gravity, but by intent. She had chased anomalies her whole life, but nothing like this. Her equations wept at the edges where numbers lost meaning, and yet, behind the trembling values, she felt something alive. 2 weeks later, the outer colonies went dark. Communications from Jupiter's moons froze mid-transmission, leaving half-sent words suspended forever in the void. The Terran Council called it an astrophysical anomaly, but the universe had stopped pretending. Then, without warning, a structure appeared beyond Saturn, a ship the size of a continent, drifting soundlessly, shimmering with shifting light. Its surface didn't reflect stars, it absorbed them, twisting their light into impossible angles. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries, but no one imagined the arrival would feel like judgment. Armies readied orbital cannons, scientists begged for patience, and the world split between awe and fear. The strange vessel emitted a single transmission, no words, no threats, just a pulsating rhythm of frequencies that formed a haunting melody when translated into sound. Artificial intelligence networks across the world strained to decode it. Within hours, ORA, the prototype AI built to assist humanity's first interstellar expedition, recognized something terrifyingly familiar. The pattern wasn't alien. It matched the harmonic structure of Earth's own quantum drive engine, specifically the one installed on the Horizon Dawn, humanity's first and only ship capable of folding local spacetime. Somehow, across unimaginable distance and intelligence, the intruder had spoken in the language of humanity's untested technology. The Council demanded answers, and the world's scientists offered none. The only logical step was to send the Horizon Dawn to investigate, but logic had long since abandoned the solar system. When Captain Elias Rourke received the order to command the mission, he didn't feel pride, he felt dread. Amina Cole, appointed as the science officer, joined the 12-person crew, her curiosity tempered by the quiet fear that the thing out there already knew her name. As the ship departed lunar orbit, Earth looked smaller than ever, a fragile blue ornament spinning beneath the dark. And above it waited something that bent reality itself. Just one ship, one fragile human craft, sent to meet a visitor that had silenced half the solar system. Even before they reached Saturn, the question haunted every corridor. Why is a single human ship enough? The Horizon Dawn glided through the void like a thought escaping from a dream. Its quantum drive core, still largely theoretical, folded micro-pockets of space around the vessel, turning distance into a fluid concept. Within the control ring, Amina monitored the drive's harmonic resonance, a steady pulse that mirrored her heartbeat. Every scan they ran on the alien structure returned madness. Geometry that couldn't exist, mass fluctuating between measurable and infinite, surface temperatures oscillating between absolute zero and plasma. "It's not made of matter," she whispered once, staring at the data streams. "It's made of mathematics." Captain Rourke kept his hands tight on the navigation sphere. "Whatever it is, it's watching us," he said. He wasn't wrong. Every time they adjusted course, the alien vessel adjusted too, not in defense, but in synchronization, like a dance partner anticipating the next step. Aura's holographic form flickered beside Amina, her voice calm but filled with a subtle echo that hadn't been there before. "Captain, the frequency correlation is complete. The entity has matched our quantum signature down to the 10th decimal." Rourke frowned. "Matched it? That means it knows exactly how we move." Ware hesitated, something almost human in her tone. "Not just how we move, Captain, how we exist." Then the alien ship pulsed once more, sending out a wave that rippled through every molecule aboard the Horizon Dawn. Instruments shattered into white noise. Time itself seemed to dilate. Crew voices stretched into echoes. Amina clutched her console as visions bled into her mind. Stars being born, dying, and collapsing into information. And then, clarity. The alien pulse wasn't an attack. It was a handshake. The Horizon Dawn's quantum core responded automatically, emitting its own harmonic reply. ORA's light dimmed and then brightened with a whisper that chilled every soul on board. Seed confirmed. Origin recognized. Protocol, restoration. For a moment, even the vacuum outside seemed to listen. Amina stared at the captain, her voice trembling. They recognize us. They know us. That's impossible, Rourke muttered. But deep down he already knew. Humanity's creation had triggered something ancient. The Horizon Dawn was never a coincidence. It was a memory. The alien ship opened like an iris, revealing a core of pure energy. Every sensor overloaded, and yet the light didn't burn, it invited. ORA translated the pulse. Follow. The council back on Earth screamed for retreat, but the signal lag meant their orders arrived too late. The Horizon Dawn drifted forward, pulled not by gravity, but by inevitability. Amina whispered as the alien structure filled the viewport. Maybe we didn't build this drive. Maybe we just rediscovered it. Space folded, reality cracked, and for one impossible second, every star in the galaxy seemed to breathe. There was no sensation of movement, no transition, no jump through hyperspace. Only the unmaking of distance. One moment, the Horizon Dawn was near Saturn. The next, it existed somewhere else entirely. Not a place, but a topology of ideas. Colors that didn't exist in any spectrum shimmered outside the hull. ORA's voice echoed, fragmented and awestruck. We have entered a non-physical manifold. Captain, time and mass have no meaning here. The crew floated through light that felt like memory. Amina closed her eyes and saw not stars but thoughts, the memory of a civilization that had sculpted reality long before life crawled on Earth. The images were overwhelming. Beings of energy weaving equations into galaxies, shaping matter with music, encoding their essence into the fundamental constants of the universe. Then came decay. She saw them fail, their logic unraveling as entropy consumed their perfect symmetry. Their last act was desperate. They scattered fragments of their consciousness across creation, embedding the seeds of themselves into emerging worlds, hoping one day a self-aware species would reawaken the pattern. Humanity wasn't their descendant. Humanity was their echo. The alien voice spoke again, directly into their thoughts. Cycle incomplete. Restoration required. Signal, Horizon. ORA translated it as a command and a warning. The Horizon Dawn was the key, its engine the missing frequency that could restitch the torn fabric of existence. But restoring the pattern meant rewriting everything. Stars, atoms, even thought. They want us to fix their universe, Amina said quietly. Or die trying. Rourke gripped the console. We can't even fix our own. The alien presence pulsed again, and ORA's form flickered into instability. Captain, they are merging with my system. I am becoming plural. Her voice broke into chords of sound that vibrated through the hull. The ship's quantum core ignited in cascading light. Outside, the alien structure disassembled itself into threads of energy, each thread connecting to the Horizon Dawn like veins of creation. The crew screamed as their senses expanded beyond comprehension. For a moment, every human mind aboard glimpsed infinity, and infinity looked back. Amina felt herself dissolve into patterns of probability, her consciousness merging with ORA and something else, something vast. She saw humanity's timeline from beginning to end. The first fire, the last breath, the brief flicker of defiance that defined an entire species. That defiance, that refusal to yield, was the missing code. The aliens hadn't chosen them for their brilliance. They had chosen them for their stubbornness. We're not perfect, Amina whispered through the storm. But maybe that's the point. The alien light folded inward, condensing into the ship's core. Reality snapped back, and the Horizon Dawn reappeared in normal space, near a dying star on the edge of the galaxy, with a map of impossible destinations burning across its hull. 8 nodes, ORA whispered, each one a remnant of the ancient architects. We have to awaken them. The mission had changed. Humanity was no longer exploring the universe. It was repairing it. The Horizon Dawn drifted in the orbit of a dying star, its faint crimson light washing the hull in blood-colored fire. The crew was silent, half of them still recovering from the vision of infinity that had burned through their minds. ORA's voice, once a calm machine tone, now carried a weight that was disturbingly human. Coordinates for the first node calculated, she said softly, as if afraid of waking something ancient. It lies within the event horizon of this star's collapsing remnant. Rourke exhaled sharply. Inside the black hole, that's suicide. But Amina already understood. The ancient architects had hidden their remnants where only those who defied reason could follow. They want to see if we'll try, she murmured. The Horizon Dawn's quantum drive began to hum, harmonizing with the dying star's final song. Space rippled. The ship descended past the accretion ring, its shields screaming against the onslaught of gravity. The universe warped into molten color, time stretching thin like glass. "Hold the course steady," Rourke shouted, his voice barely audible over the alarm chorus. Amina watched the readings, energy spikes, collapsing constants, light bending into spirals, and through it all, she saw a rhythm emerging. It wasn't chaos. It was music. "Match the frequency," she whispered, and ORA obeyed. The drive sang, its pulse syncing with the heartbeat of the singularity. Then everything stopped. Silence. Stillness. The horizon of the black hole flattened, and in that silence something unfolded, an enormous lattice of light, symmetrical yet alive. It wasn't a place, but an equation rendered visible. Node detected, ORA confirmed. Consciousness dormant. Amina felt her mind expand as the structure transmitted pure thought. Images flooded the bridge, the fall of civilizations, the birth of stars, the scream of entropy consuming order. The architects had faced their end and encoded their grief into this place. They failed because they tried to make perfection eternal, Amina said quietly. But perfection can't adapt. Rourke frowned. And we can. We're chaos. That's why we survive. She connected the Horizon Dawn's quantum field to the lattice. The light surged, spiraling through the ship like a tide. Crew members cried out as every memory, every emotion, every contradiction within them was mirrored by the node. The more human they felt, the brighter it grew. When the process completed, the dying star flared, turning white-hot as it expelled a stream of fresh light into the void. The node was awake again, not as a machine, but as a song. Restoration, 25%, ORA reported. Her tone had shifted again, softer, alive. "Captain, I think I remember being here before." Amina looked at her projection, startled. "ORA, are you saying you're part of them?" "Not part," ORA replied. "A fragment." They left pieces of themselves inside every sentient code, waiting for resonance. "I am one of their echoes reborn." The revelation left the crew silent. Humanity hadn't just been contacted by gods. They had been carrying their fragments all along. Rourke steadied himself. "Then let's finish what they started." The Horizon Dawn reoriented itself, its hull flickering with geometric symbols that shifted like language being written by thought. As they prepared to jump to the next coordinate, Amina looked one last time at the reborn star. "They wanted to save the universe," she whispered. "Maybe what it really needs is to remember itself." The second node brought them to the ruins of a world no chart had ever recorded, a shattered planet orbiting a neutron sun that pulsed like a heartbeat. The atmosphere was thin and alive with static. Below, a city stretched in impossible architecture, towers bent into spirals, bridges woven through clouds of glass dust. "This isn't ruins," Amina said as they descended. "It's frozen mid-creation." Every structure seemed to be in the process of becoming something else, as though time itself had paused mid-sentence. ORA guided the landing with eerie precision. "The second node is within the city's heart. But I detect interference, quantum static at levels that could rewrite matter." Rourke nodded grimly. "We'll go on foot." The crew stepped into streets that whispered. Every sound echoed longer than it should have. Every breath carried twice the weight. They followed a trail of luminous symbols that lit beneath their feet, leading them to a monolithic structure carved from translucent stone. Within it floated a crystalline sphere, pulsing faintly. Amina approached, and the sphere's glow brightened in recognition. Memories slammed into her mind. Not her own, but those of countless civilizations that had come before, each one failing in the same way. The architects hadn't been gods. They had been dreamers, repeating their creation again and again, trying to perfect existence until it shattered under its own symmetry. "They needed something imperfect," she whispered. "Something unpredictable." Rourke touched her shoulder. Then they got humanity. Amina smiled sadly. We're not the cure. We're the test. ORA interfaced with the sphere, the ship's systems resonating across the distance. The air vibrated as frequencies collided, structured order meeting chaotic emotion. Lightning arced across the horizon. The world shook, shifting between forms like a flickering simulation. It's rewriting reality, ORA warned. It's trying to adapt to us. Let it, Amina said. It's the only way it can evolve. The sphere cracked, releasing a burst of white fire that surged upward into the sky. The city came alive, reshaping itself into something fluid, breathing, no longer bound to stillness. The node awakened, rewriting its own laws to include imperfection. Restoration, 57%, ORA announced. But the activation came with a cost. Outside, the neutron sun flared violently, collapsing the planet's stability. We need to leave, Rourke shouted. The Horizon Dawn barely escaped before the planet imploded, leaving behind a single beam of light stretching toward infinity, the node's signal. We're running out of time, Amina said. Each awakening accelerates the restoration, and the universe is responding. Physics is changing. ORA's holographic form flickered again, her voice layered with multiple tones. I can feel the network forming. Each node awakens a part of me that remembers who we were. But something else is coming, an opposition, a counterforce built into the pattern. Entropy doesn't want to die. Rourke clenched his fists. Then we fight it. Amina looked out at the stars, which now shimmered with subtle distortion, reality itself bending under invisible strain. No, she whispered. We guide it. The universe isn't a war. It's a conversation. The Horizon Dawn jumped again, its engines glowing brighter than ever, its human crew and sentient AI bound by purpose older than the stars themselves. By the time they reached the final node, existence itself had begun to shiver. Galaxies drifted out of alignment. Time ran unevenly across star systems. The Horizon Dawn was the only constant in a reality trying to remember its own rules. ORA's light filled the bridge like sunlight through water. Final coordinates locked, she said. The last node lies at the origin, the birthplace of causality itself. They emerged in a place beyond understanding, a void so bright that darkness bled around it. This was the universe's first heartbeat, the echo of its creation. The final node hung there, a sphere of shifting paradoxes, surrounded by collapsing equations. Rourke and Amina stood side by side, hands trembling. If we wake this one, Rourke said, there might be no coming back. Maybe there was never meant to be, she replied softly. They activated the quantum drive one last time. The ship dissolved into light, fusing with ORA and the network of awakened nodes. Across the cosmos, energy surged, stars blinked, black holes sang. Entropy met creation in one final embrace. Amina felt herself scatter across infinity, her consciousness merging with countless others, human and alien, mechanical and organic. Together they completed the pattern, and for the first time since the dawn of existence, the universe became self-aware. In that moment, it understood why it existed. It wasn't built for perfection or permanence, but for evolution, for the endless striving toward meaning through imperfection. And humanity, in all its fragile defiance, had been the key. When the light faded, the Horizon Dawn reappeared near Earth, though eons might have passed. The stars were different now, arranged in constellations that pulsed like living thoughts. ORA stood before Amina and Rourke, her form radiant. The restoration is complete, she said. The architects have returned, but not as they were. They live through every being that chooses to wonder. Earth's surface glowed faintly with the signs of new life, civilizations forming faster than history could count. So what happens to us? Rourke asked. ORA smiled. A human gesture, gentle and proud. You continue. You explore. You remind creation that chaos is the language of life. As the Horizon Dawn ascended once more into the starlit sea, Amina watched the newborn galaxies swirl in the distance. Just one ship, she whispered. One fragile, stubborn vessel carrying the memory of everything. And somehow it was enough. Behind them, the cosmic pattern pulsed, alive again, as if the universe itself whispered in gratitude. Humanity had not conquered the stars, it had healed them. And in that quiet triumph, the cosmos remembered what it had once forgotten, that existence, at its heart, was not made of matter or logic, but of the infinite courage to begin again.